Hey everybody, what's going on?
Hi, Rockman Johnson and C. Ray Johnson here for another live. So,
Peace.
what do you want to talk about today?
Putting me on the spot. We're discussing what we wanted to talk about today, and I've I'm stuck for a topic actually, but
Speechless. Hey, it isn't so.
it isn't so. It is so. It's so. So I'm gonna defer to Carol and let her get going with whatever she wants to share, and I'll jump in because once I get warmed up, I'll just go.
Yep. Well, you know how we're really big on health and nutrition and fitness and anything that can be a benefit to your life. And we can talk about that in the concept of our daily walk. And what we do is we walk with God daily. We have to trust. Um, Everything we do comes down to decision making and choices. And, we run into obstacles, big ones like anybody else. Everybody always has things happening in their life that can be huge challenges to them, and where they can either be defeated with fear and worry, or they can persevere through and find a way to keep going. So we can
Absolutely.
talk something along those lines.
All right. Fear and worry. Very familiar with both of those topics.
Fear and worry, you know how sometimes it could put that sinking feeling in your gut. Something can happen with your finances, your health, um, family, just anything. Your plans for life can be suddenly derailed for what you think you are on the right path for. But we're not in control. God's in control. He is in the ultimate control. And sometimes we just have to reroute our thinking, accept where we're at and where we're going, and see the blessings in that, and new things can sprout out of them. They could be seeds for tremendous growth to succeed and to help others grow through our pain and what we've experienced that we can share that worked for us to help us just to still be standing.
Absolutely.
And
So, the Bible says, and I've heard people say that it says, fear not or do not fear 365 times. And the reality is, it probably says it much more than that, but it shows the importance of fear, or not feeling fear for a couple of reasons. People think that, the Bible is this big holier than thou book, but there's a lot of practical knowledge in there as well.
And there is, and
So,
you see it just bring across in the mainstream everything. You see little things in movies, just little verses, proverbs all the time, all kinds of
right.
things. And because it's your handbook for life, for
Absolutely.
living.
And God says, "Fear not," or do not be afraid. Don't hang on to your anxieties, and trust Him. And on the health level, with that, fear and anxiety can totally wreck your health.
Can cripple a person from the inside
So
out.
not only in your actions, but in the way your body digests food, the way your cortisol levels, all those things that allow your body not only to stay in a stress mode, but it also allows you to
We're in a
hang on to your
constant
belly
state of
fat, and right.
constant state of
It
stress.
plays havoc with your health, your internal organs.
And in our society, it's hard to get away from, because you can have stress just driving it on your way to anywhere. Stress from all the bombardment. Everybody has everybody has the cell phones and electronics and everything, but there's just so much information. There's
And
just
like
an
that
overload.
idiot
And
on the road
bombards-
that won't speed up on the on-ramp.
Excuse me.
How many guys are with me on that one? You could say you're not going to get upset and angry at anybody on the road, then that guy cuts you off, or they drive too slow on the on-ramp, and that immediately brings a stress reaction, right? And you want to respond in a angry way, and you build up that stress. And if you don't have a release, and there's the problem, is you don't have a healthy release for it at that point unless you can get your breathing under control. And your other release would be to catch up to the guy and bump them off the road, or yell at them and give them the finger when you go by, which could then cause other stress after that happens. So
And that stress can carry down into your home life, your family, relationships, and so forth, and it could just add. And then when you have sudden things happening, like a crisis event, it could be anything from a health issue to an accident, injury, or anything. And a lot of times people are completely not only discouraged by a crisis, but completely defeated. But you cannot be defeated, and you have to look at your crisis in a new way that could create a creativity for you, could give birth to a new creativity for you in your life, where you can just reroute, and it can even go back to something that's been in you all along that you've always wanted to do, but now since this crisis happened, it may allot you the time that you didn't have when you were busy and stressed all the time. That you can pursue something new, and it could be a seed for change in your life, change for growth, change for you to succeed, and like I was saying before, change to help others through a crisis event, and it's how you deal with it. And if you are a believer and walk with God, you know what I'm talking about, because you're not alone in your crisis. You have that constant higher source to go to for strength and comfort and guidance to get through, just to still stay breathing and to still stay standing, and then to take that next step without giving up.
Absolutely. So yeah, we
Bam.
Bam, drop the mic, we're done. But seriously, there's all kinds of things that cause stress, and we've been through many of them: financial stress,
You name it.
family stress, job stress, whatever. We all have it, right? It's not anything new to anybody out there. It's how you deal with it. And there's nutritional ways of dealing with stress. There are physical ways of dealing with stress, and a healthy way would be like fitness or boxing, some kind of physical release. Then
And
there's
things not to do, not to stuff it, because it will come back at a trigger point that will be released again. Not to hide it or stuff it with things that are unhealthy either.
right, and that would be another good conversation too, especially men that hang on to our stress because we don't wish to show emotions. We'll have to say that one for another time,
And
I
you
think.
could stuff it with
that
eating,
anger,
overeating. You could
right.
stuff it with substance abuse, drug abuse, and food is abuse when you just eat for no reason, just to stuff your feelings.
Right. So there's all kinds of detrimental health reactions and body reactions to stress, and learning to deal with it in a healthy way is good. It was, I had a conversation with a few people about stress and watching kids building up, frustration. And one of the number one things I see is a lot more anger and stress in kids nowadays than I have before. And a lot of it's because they don't have a healthy physical release for it, because we don't let our kids play outside. And this is probably going way off what you were discussing, but it shows, especially now, because these young children are going to grow into adults at some time, and if they don't learn a healthy release, this is going to be the result of our next step in society that is coming up.
Right,
So,
and then a lot of times with that, because everybody has an electronic device and you very much focus on it, and it becomes a huge distraction when it's not monitored. I'm not saying anything bad against it. I'm just time management maybe, but
Yep.
when somebody's allowed to be excessive with the excessive amount of hours,
Absolutely.
or then there's not the release, even from playing like a game that
That's what I
tenses
wanted.
you up, and you're just like, you're
Yep.
you're shooting and everything, and then you don't have the release, and you all of a sudden stop, and it's like, and then you're in the real world, and then you don't know how to relate with your emotions. But when
Right.
you get out and play something like anything, tennis, soccer, walk, run,
Right.
play,
What we try to
you
do.
get to
Yeah. Absolutely.
physically get that out, or work out.
Yeah, I see it. I watch when our son plays video games and how he gets, and not realizing that I get the same way when I'm playing a video game. So if
You're better than. I remember back in the day just walking in front of the TV during a Steelers game.
oh my
like,
gosh,
really?
yeah. So there's certain trigger things that can set you off, and if you don't have that physical release of it, then it's going to build up, and it's going to come out in other ways. And breathe. So what I've implemented with my kids, especially Aiden now, when we play video games, I try to have a physical release during the game.
That's great, yeah.
So we'll do since Carolyn doesn't like to say when we get killed, so we come up with the term we got done did. So when we get done did, we have to do squats or push-ups or kettlebell swings or some kind of physical release. Not only does it help, get rid of that stress during the game, whether you win or lose when you're playing a game, that stress builds
It
up.
pumps you up. Your adrenaline is going.
Your mind doesn't know the difference, so you have a huge adrenaline reaction to it. And if you don't release it, it's going to get released somewhere else in the day, whether it's an angry retort,
Snap or,
it's going to come out in an unhealthy way. So we started doing it fitness-wise, push-ups, squats, etc. And it helps a lot. But on a good note for you guys that like realistic experiences, your mind doesn't know the difference, so you might as well get your whole body into it. So say when you're playing a game and you get did and you get frustrated and you you drop down and do 20 push-ups or whatever. When you get back up to play the game, now not only is your adrenaline up, you're breathing heavy. It makes a realistic experience now, right? Like as if you're in actual combat. So, but you're releasing it, so it's not held out and taken out somewhere else.
And I'll tell you why I prefer those words over than like killed or dead, you know, because you got to speak life into your world. You can't be speaking these negative words all the time, no matter what, even whatever you're doing in front of your kids, in front of your family, in front of whatever. If you get frustrated when you speak negative all the time, it just hangs around, you know, and it affects you. But you speak life, and even when you feel bad, you just, you know, you speak life to yourself, you know, even if, you know, if you have to in the mirror, like, no, I'm going to get through this, you know, with God's help, I'll get past this, you know, like, I can't pay my mortgage, I can't do this, this is failing, oh well, I will get past this, it'll work out. I'm not going to focus on the negative, because then it gets bigger, it gets huge, and then the fear sets in more, and the worry sets in more, and this is the feeling like you speak life, knowing God's got it. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get out of it.
Absolutely, and those are biblical principles too.
Yeah.
You know, they say speak life, or allow, you know, Christ to speak into your life. Allow the Holy Spirit to speak into your life. The Apostle Paul said a lot of times, allowing Him to speak into your life, His words of life and salvation, hope, and all that. And those are all important things. You know, you hear all the feel-good guru say, you know, speak positive, think positive thoughts, and good things will come back. And those are biblical principles. And it's not always in the way that some of these life coach gurus tell you. If you think good thoughts, that's good. But it doesn't automatically mean you're going to become prosperous or wealthy. You have to put action with it as well. So good thoughts, but also good actions.
And it's what you let in, you know.
Right.
You know, your eyes are the windows to your soul, and if you're watching nasty stuff with like all this
violence,
it's like gonna work on you. Or you know, like if you can
physical release,
you can even get into, you let other things in. I mean, a lot of people have, you know, I don't know if I should talk about it on this topic, but like with people, you know, if they watch things like, say, porn, that's going to let all that negative, nasty stuff in, and that will wreck your life. If you watch, you know, like violence, murderous stuff.
I watch The Punisher.
Evil type, well...
he
you
done...
know, I'm talking about, like,
I know. He done...
You also watch Gotham a little too much. We talk about that in the book, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because you think I walk like the Penguin.
Ooh, you know, bad husband moments. Bad husband moments. I paid for that one. It's in the book, so I'm going to pay for it over and over and over again. But yeah, you know,
he probably has, you know, like an autoimmune or fibromyalgia or something that makes him walk like that.
Yeah.
Give that waddle.
Yeah, it can be cute though.
Should be that for Halloween. Well, Gustav.
You can be Batgirl. Catwoman. I can be Bruce Wayne. I'll be Batman.
You said Miss Marvel. Wait, we're doing it live.
I know. All right, simmer down now, people. So,
our moms are probably watching.
We're in trouble. We might get lectured after this one. So, yeah. So back to getting on topic. Healthy release of negative emotions is good, and it's easy to get caught up in the negative, which just continues the downward spiral of bad health, bad feelings. Yeah. It comes down to mentality. You know, there's different mentalities, and I was going at with the online guru guys, the feel good guys. It's not so much that if you say good things all the time that you're going to be happy-go-lucky and life's going to be perfect, but it changes your mentality. It makes you focus and look at things in a different way. And mentality is everything. And that goes with health, that goes with fitness, that goes with business, that goes with family life, marriage, business relationships, whatever. It's mentality. You can work next to have two guys working the same job, and it might be a really crappy
somebody
job.
negative and somebody positive.
Right.
And that,
Different perspectives. The one guy saying, well, if they're only paying me this much, I'm not going to go do, I'm not going to do this, the other thing. I'm not going to stay overtime. And the other guy is thinking, well, if I put in the extra, I will be able to provide for my family. I'll be able, I'll get recognized. I'll be able to move up. He has a different mentality, different work ethic, and then those things tend to carry over. If you have a bad attitude, a bad mentality, and you're not going to put the extra in, then you're not going to get the extra out. So
and even the negativity of when you're surrounded by, and it could be like people could just grow up with it and be around it in past relationships, but being around all that negativity, it's just almost like a vampire. It just will suck you dry, and you're just like exhausted. Not even, you have to surround yourself with positiveness. You can't,
right. And yeah, absolutely. And when it gets to the point where
positive people that are thinking positively,
absolutely.
on the up, not like always
it
down and ready to drag everybody else with them.
It feeds the people around you. If you're trying to do something good in your life and be a leader or affect people in a positive way, then your attitude, your mentality, the words you say, the thoughts that you have an effect, because people can feel that. If you're negative and down all the time, and it just takes one person to bring the whole room down into that negative level. Sometimes you have to cut those people out of your life. We've done it with certain family members and friends, and you have to cut them out. Doesn't mean you don't love them. Sometimes some people are better off loved from afar, and other times there's issues that do need to be dealt with. But if somebody's constantly negative, constantly cutting into your life, into your dreams, your thoughts, with never
your
anything,
immediate family,
without positive things to say,
your marriage, your relationship.
It's best to move away from those thoughts so it doesn't affect your marriage, your life, your business, your dreams. I was listening to Dr. Miles Monroe and John C. Maxwell, and they were talking about, if you want to really make a positive impact in your life, sometimes, the best thing you can do is cut away the people that are in your life that are holding you back from getting there. The people that step on your dreams, or you share them a dream or something that you're thinking about, and well, that's stupid, or you'll never do good with that, or you better have a backup plan. That's not going to work out.
Or do this.
Yeah. Or
what they think you should do.
So there's those are the kind of people you don't want. You want people that are going to speak life into you, honestly. Honestly. So not that they should just be your yes man and just be around people that tell you yes, that's a great idea. People that positively speak into your life and speak it in truth. If there's areas of your life that need to be looked at and addressed, then they should be able to speak that to you in a positive way. But anybody that trounces you, steps on you, makes, even in jest, friends that joke about what you're trying to do, in reality, it's kind of, they say humor is funny. Jokes are funny because there's truth in them, and that's what makes it funny, but it also makes it cut. So when your friends are jesting about something that you're trying to achieve and making fun of it, even if it's in a light jesting way, inside they could be feeling that they don't think you deserve it, or that you'll ever earn it or get it and achieve it. So inside they could very well be rooting for your demise, your downfall in that endeavor, because they're not willing to step out and do it themselves. They hope that you don't. So yeah.
There's always gonna be haters.
Always. If you're not making enemies, you're not.
Go forward.
Absolutely. If you're not making enemies, you're not making haters, you're not ruffling somebody's feathers, then you're not working hard enough. Your dream's not big enough.
Because when you are, then you're on the right path.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we get a lot of stuff. Family, friends, people that we've moved out. because we have plans, and we may not be where we want to be right now, but we're a heck of a lot closer to it than we were before, and we're going to keep stepping
well,
forward
it's
to it.
amazing that where we are, I mean, better than we should be. I mean, like even with me, the things going on and the brain injury and everything, and writing books. Only God can make
Absolutely.
that happen.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah,
I
had,
can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. It is it, right there.
right.
I mean, remember before? I mean, I couldn't even speak or think, and if I would write a word, it would take me forever, and it would look like a 4-year-old was trying to write it, and it would take up a whole piece of paper.
Yeah.
So,
that's one thing. I know this is long, so I don't know who's gonna ever watch the whole thing, but hopefully somebody doesn't. If you do, please drop in the comments on the.
and never give up. Always persevere, and always be inspired,
right.
because there's a
You
higher
never
power
know.
at work and controlling your life.
You
can't
can't
give up
quit.
from all these little crisis attacks or whatever that happens.
God
along the
has it.
way.
People worry about making, money is the root of all evil, and being wealthy is bad. But the Bible never teaches that. The Bible says, God gives you the ability to live in abundance. He gives you the ability. He doesn't give you the money if you're praying for that. But He just wants you to make sure you remember where that wealth and that ability came from.
And God has your path laid out. It's up to you to make the right choices, to listen and trust in Him, and knowing that He has you. He's protecting you. The enemies can cause all kinds of problems along the way, but with His hand upon you, they're not going to prevail. He has it.
Absolutely.
When the Spirit moves, there is no stopping. So
keep your head up high. You do your part. God's already done His. You just have to keep the right attitude and mentality, and live in hope and faith, and keep stepping forward. And when you get to that point where the stress is too heavy and it pushes you down to your knees, praise God. That's the strongest place you can be, because down on your knees you
You're
put your
closer
hands
to Him.
together and look up and thank God for everything that He's holding you
that's
up.
it. Because when you're at your lowest, you're actually at your closest.
Amen. Okay, with that, we're gonna peace out.
Peace, man.
Peace. Can we start talking about Miss Marvel again?
I saw that. I was going through like those pics, and I happened to come across it. Like, I'll have to start, working out again. I get working out again and try to,
All right,
get
everybody.
back into some kind of shape.
Oh, you're in
Can't be
great shape.
growling
You look
like that.
fantastic. All right.
Well, I gotta work within my limits and keep trudging along.
Absolutely. You look fantastic, by
Not let
the way.
defeat. I don't know.
Even sit out
You're
in
my
Australia
husband,
says
you
that you're
gotta say
hot.
that.
All right, everybody. God bless.
Oh my
Peace out.
goodness.